Alright, hey guys, we're back. We're going to be watching Yuuki with Dimir Mill and Harry with the Simic that is shenanigansy World Spine Worm and Bio Visionary and interesting different little combos sorts of. It's kind of a Johnny style deck, I would say.
Science is what it's called.
What is it?
Science.
Science, there we go, I like that.
That's what he calls it.
Okay. I feel like I should kind of... Should I change the official name? I kind of want to.
I mean, it's as good a description as any.
Okay, I like that. Alright, you can now see on your screen it actually says Simic Science. So we are ready to do this. This game being played on Cockatrice. Hopefully we'll eventually get more of the matches moved over to Magic Online. I think they're having issues with the their call. So, who do you think is going to be favored in this matchup?
Well, if World Spine Worm works the way I remember it, it's sort of unbeatable.
Yeah, let's see if Yuuki has anything in his deck list here that he could use. So we've got... Yeah, so the World Spine Worm's going to trigger and then shuffle back into the deck. So he basically has to make somebody, or make Harry draw a card with that trigger on the stack. I'm not sure if he can actually do that. Is Consult the Necrosages, that's a sorcery, right? That may be the only actual card draw.
That is sorcery.
Yeah. The Psychic Spiral just actually mills the... Maybe there's some way he could exile it. He could exile it like with Nightveil Spectre. That's a way he could win. But he's gonna have to jump through some hoops. He get it with Surku also. But there's certainly an added layer that goes beyond just like mill all of your cards and I win. And we can look at Harry's deck. Here's some science. So there's a few things going on here. He's got Master Biomancer and Fathom Mage. He's got Aether Plasm that can put in the World Spine Worm if he draws it, although, like you said, I think he doesn't actually want to draw that card. And got some Evolve sorts of shenanigans. Unexpected results. He's got the Followed Footsteps of the Biovisionary. There's a lot of like different 2-card combos that could come up, but it looks like the game's starting, so let's get over there.
I like the combo we almost saw last match of Court of Calling into Aether Plasm into World Spine Worm.
Yeah. These hands, Yuki's definitely looking pretty good because he's got mana and cheap spells. Harry has the colors, but he doesn't have anything that costs less than 4, so he's going to probably be hoping to draw a Coiling Oracle or a Civic Signet or something like that to accelerate him to his higher drops. He drew Cyto Shape.
Cyto Shape, of course, for the Biovisionary win.
Right. Master Biomancer Stolen Identity could go somewhere, but you kind of have to get the chain started. Yuuki draws Junk Troller. And he's going to cast Glimpse the Unthinkable. Obviously, what? Who do you think he's targeting? No. um, what gets built here seems relevant. Looks like he did not hit the World Spine Orb, so Simic Signet. Oh, and the Oracle, and the Plax Mantis. So basically, all the 2-drops got built. Progenitor Mimic, Verdant Haven, Trigon Predator, Simic Charm, 3 lands. I think that was actually pretty bad for Harry.
Hit all the mill cards.
Yeah. Did not hit the World's Spine Orb. He draws Followed Footsteps, so we just need the Biovisionary at this point. We got all the copy mechanisms. I do think make lots of make lots of Master Biomancers as a strategy. I just thought
that seems
fast enough.
Kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Yuuki does have the Defender combo here. He's got Doorkeeper into Drift of Phantasms into Junk Troller. She's actually going to be Doorkeeper Egg, if that's a word, for 3 in a couple turns. And he has the Codex Shredder online.
Do you see a lot of value in this Junk Troller being in the deck besides just being a defender for a Doorkeeper?
Not really. So there's a combo. If you have Junk Troller and you have the card Tunnel Vision, you can just mill your opponent out. So that when he took the Junk Troller, I thought that he was going to take the Tunnel Vision also.
But he didn't, right?
He didn't, no. But Harry's casting a main phase Telling Time. So he's going to let him look at the top 3. He gets to put 1 in his hand, 1 on top, and 1 on the bottom. Alright, so wow, all the cards were forests. Put a forest in his hand, forest on the bottom, forest on top. I feel like there's a pun in here somewhere.
Are we back in Lost in the Woods draft format?
Yeah, there we go. Codex Shredder is going to mill the forest. A Lore Broker, that's the way he could beat the World's Spine Orb. Did I just miss something last turn? I think Yuuki had 2 mana and just didn't cast the Doorkeeper. Because he had 3 mana and he played the Shredder, which leaves 2 mana back. But I guess he could just cast Lore Broker now and it's not that different. He's still keeping mana up. Oh, he doesn't have enough blue.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he just missed it.
Draw Step is another forest. Well, here's the Biomancer. I think this plan is probably just going to be too slow. Codex Shredder. Oh no, we lost the Biovisionary. If Harry times it right, he could cast Unexpected Results and have a pretty high % chance of hitting World Spine Worm. Like if he only has 5 cards in his library or something. he can't wait. Yeah, he can't wait so long that he just get milled out before he gets to attack with it, though. Alright, so Yuuki draws the 2nd blue mana that lets him cast Drift of Phantasms and the Lore Broker. I think Harry drew 2 cards. I'm going to put Aether Plasm up on the screen because it's not a super common one. But Aether Plasm doesn't do a whole lot when you aren't blocking. So I guess he's just going to cast Followed Footsteps on the Master Biomancer. And hope that he can get this big army that gets out of control before he gets milled out.
That's 15 cards already.
Yeah, Yuki's best draw might just be a land, because then that would let him cast a Junk Troller and activate Doorkeeper. A Court of Calling gets milled. Yuki top decks Bob. That must have been a bad one. That I have to port over to Magic Online. But he casts it. Alright, so upkeep we get a token. Presumably. Protean Hulk is the draw. It's hard to know for sure if he dropped the, or if he missed the trigger, or if it's just like hard to make a token. It looks like he might have just missed it.
Looks like he's just doing things.
He played the land now. Oh no, there it is. Alright, so and these stack, how effectively do these stack? So if the third Biomancer is going to get 6 counters or 4? Because it counts both of these things. It's like the first one obviously gets 2, then this one has 4 power, this one has 2 power. So then I think the next one would be an 8-10 or something. So you could actually cast Stolen Identity right now. Make another one. This might be closer than I thought it was going to be.
There are a decent number of blockers for 8-10 Biomancers.
Yeah. And like the Ciphered one is obviously going to have to get jump blocked. It might be his best chance though. Yeah, I don't think he needs to cast Unexpected Results yet. But he just did. So I pulled a Paul Rietzel for anybody who watches the Super Leagues. Whenever he commentates, like he says, well, I would do this, and then the person does something else. Alright, Unexpected Results. World Spine Worm. Oh wow. We got there.
Did it finally happen?
It did.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and it also gets 6+1/+1 counters.
Because why not?
Yeah. The results were indeed unexpected. Well, we have a game now. It is worth noting that, you know, there's obviously now no World Spine Worm to stop the milling, so if Yuuki draws, I don't know, Breaking and Entering or something, he could just win in time. Alright, so Codex Shredder's going to get 1, Doorkeeper's going to get 2 more. And Lorebroker also. So you can mill, yeah, so Breaking and Entering is lethal, I think. Mills Island, Plaxcaster, Frogling. It's a big draw step here. Alright. I'm not sure where this hover barrier came from.
It's a Bob.
Oh, it's a Bob trigger. Okay. That 3 life is relevant when there's a 21/21 trampler on the other side. He drew Night Veil Spectre. Lore Broker. Draws a Swamp, so he's not going to be able to mill him out this turn. Harry drew and discarded Forest, by the way, off of Lore Broker. Yeah, Hover Barrier seems pretty good here. So it's 6 up 6. This is going to be very close, I think. Alright, so he gets to make another Biomancer. So I think he can throw Drift of Phantasms in front of the 4/6 Biomancer, and then throw the 0/6 under the World Spine Worm, and he should be able to live. The problem is that, so he can Doorkeeper this turn for 3. So I would mill him down to 4 cards, or to 3 cards. Then Shredder would put him to 2.
How about Cyto Shape on World Spine Worm?
Oh, that seems relevant. Yeah, World Spine Worm not legendary. Oh, so he can just attack and then after blocks cast a Cyto Shape to make another World Spine Worm. That's probably going to be good enough. Hashtag onboard kills. Yeah, because the math I was starting to do before you pointed out the more obvious, apparently not obvious, but the optimal line of play here. I think that Yuuki can, like, I think Harry does have to win this turn, but it looks like he can. As he's basically attacking for like 30-something trample damage. And creature even gets to keep the counters. Cyto Shape to make another World Spine Worm.
Things you didn't think would happen in this draft.
For real. I guess we're activating Doorkeeper. Mills, Fathom Mage, Mana Bloom, Simic. Yep, and that's the end of the game. Well done. Unexpected indeed.
I'm going to say that might have been the highlight of Harry's tournament, but I hope it wasn't because that was fantastic. I want to see it again.
All right, so let's look at sideboards, because what else are we going to do after that? Harry has a large sideboard, but he has a few cards that he's not playing because he was in white for a while and is not anymore. So he probably wants to get aggressive. So I think like the Drakewing Krasis and the Beetle Form Mage are pretty good. Mark of Eviction might be good for bouncing stuff, bouncing walls, and then Indrik Stompeller can kill the Kodak Shredder and is a decently sized creature, so You see anything else?
I didn't have the list up. Sorry, I'm working on it.
It's on this. I put it up on the stream.
Yeah, I don't see much else.
All right, well, we can look at Yuuki's list. He could always sideboard into the pack rat plan. That is an option.
He's really down on pack rat, but I think it could work out, especially Will here.
I probably would have just main decked it, just because like it's a different angle of attack than the rest of the deck.
Yeah.
I believe Crypt Incursion can get the World Spine Worm out of the mill cycle, so he probably wants that.
Shadow of Doubt for things like Court of Calling seems okay.
Yeah, I could see that. I forget what Induce Paranoia does, but it looks like we're going back. We're gonna get back to the game here.
Induce Paranoia, 4-mana counterspell, mills equal to current mana cost.
Okay. Harry's probably gonna have to mulligan his World Spine Worm and Biomancer 5 lands. Hand looks really solid on the other side.
Bob into Doorkeeper seems good.
Yeah, far and away. He has Mirko Voss. I think Momer Vig probably needs to come out in this matchup. I don't think it does a whole lot. Like, you don't want to pay 5 mana for a 2/2. He does have the Plax Manta, which he could flash in, but not really for any value right now. Yeah, I think Yuuki set up pretty well for this game. And here is Dark Confidant. There's a Cyto shape that was key last game. I don't think it does much here. If Yuuki attacks this turn, Harry might just slap down the Plax Manta and block. Although we know
Seems alright.
We know that there's a far and away, so that may not actually happen. Did Yuuki just like not untap his lands? Okay, there we go. Alright, so Doorkeeper comes down. This is usually why you play your creatures post combat. Being able to snap off the block here should buy Harry a lot of time. Like, he needs a lot of time. His hand doesn't do anything. But yeah, Plax Manta is going to come down and block Bob. Not sure if we're getting Protean Hulk in the graveyard either. Alright, Breeding Pool's the draw. Harry's still going to need an answer to Mirko Voss, or that's going to kill him pretty quickly. This turn, so Kevin chooses not to cast Breaking. He's just going to activate his Doorkeeper, probably. Harry can't do anything. He has a very slow draw. So end step, Doorkeeper is going to mill 1 card. And it is Trigon Predator.
You think he was waiting for the far away, just in case Harry played a creature? Like,
Maybe he just wants to get more value later or something. Here I assume he's gonna cast Mirko Vosk. He's also got a Dimir charm. The Mirko Vosk, pretty powerful limited card. Ends the game pretty fast. Harry's also drawn a lot of lands already, so he only probably has about 10 lands left in his library. So he's going to cast Momir Vig. Who actually dies to Dimir Charm. Which I feel like is kind of sad for the Simic fans out there. Here's Whispering Madness. Yeah, he can cast this, cipher it onto Mirko Vosk and end up milling for like 8 cards plus 4 lands or something. He probably doesn't need it. Oh, and he can cast a Dimir Charm this turn. That seems pretty appealing.
Does he want to cast Breaking first and then wait a turn for Madness?
Yeah, I can see that. I'm not sure how much value he's going to get, though, because like Harry can probably play a couple cards on his turn, which is going to make the casting the Madness twice worse. But I think he's in really good shape.
Yeah. I think arguably he should have played Breaking instead of Dimir Charm and then gone for the Madness.
Yeah, like what does Momir Vig even do exactly? Mirko Vosk only got 6 cards, which is pretty low. Followed footsteps. So I guess he can make his own Mirko Vosk, but it is legendary, so he's not going to get more Mirko Vosks. So he's found 11 of his 17 lands already. Yuuki might just be able to cast Breaking, hit a couple of lands, and then finish a game off.
Mirko Vosk can at least block himself.
Yeah. Does that make sense? Doorkeeper mills a Plexcaster Frogling. Yeah, if he casts Breaking and hits 3 lands, I think the game's over. Forest. Here's some spells. Wow. Here's the 3rd island. Well, he's just gonna win anyway now. Has that milled 14 cards? A Breaking's gonna get the rest, although I think it's not gonna. Now he scooped. I would say, isn't the World Spine Worm still in the deck?
Yeah,
I guess he would just draw it, though.
yeah, then he draws it and can't get it back in the deck, right?
Right. That was a pretty lopsided game, I would say.
Harry didn't have much to do.
I think the lesson here is that Harry has to get off to a faster start. Like, he can't afford to keep a super slow hand. Can look at the lists again. And nothing's jumping out at me that wasn't already. Yeah, I think he's got to get like the Protean Hulk and the Momer Vig out of there. And yeah, probably more or less the same for Yuuki, as we talked about last game. Looks like Yuki's ready. Harry's still boarding. But even if he loses, he at least got to win a pretty epic fashion in the first game. Another good news, the Islanders lead the Canadians 1-0. Yeah. That's the most important thing. So we can pull up the league standings real quick, although I did manage to defeat Hunter earlier today, so top of the bottom, getting a little closer. We're still playing 7 rounds. Everybody plays everybody else, so there's a lot of games left. The top 4 make the playoffs. We're going to get back to the game. Another slow hand for Harry, although still better than Yuki's, which has no mana. And Yuki's 6-card hand only has 1 land.
It does have a Codex Shredder. He might be tempted on the
Yeah. Yeah, he kept it. He's scrying. He is on the draw. And he put Island on top, so he's going to have at least blue. Yeah, I don't think Harry should have kept this hand. This doesn't do anything. Yep, here's the Shredder. That's going to get to work. Simic Signet's not a bad draw. Get him closer to playing relevant things. This Aetherplasm, though. This is not the matchup where you want that guy. Codex Shredder hits a Mana Bloom. Bob would have been a great draw here if he had black mana. So you have to settle for a Doorkeeper. Harry is going to get to fire off unexpected results here, it looks like. That was a pretty reasonable draw. I feel like odds on the worm are not quite as good as they were before.
But there's still a chance.
There's still a chance, like 3% or something. Forest.
You just get to try again.
Alright, so he gets a free land, and yeah, he can do it again next turn. He needs to hit something off the unexpected results just so he can play the Progenitor Mimic and do something with it. Although it would be funny, how bad is it to Progenitor Mimic the Doorkeeper? Because eventually you can make a lot of Doorkeepers and mill them for a lot. Mill the mill them.
That is pretty funny. Oh no, that's the worm.
That's not a good draw. I don't think Yuki's going to attack with Bob again. Oh, he didn't even play Bob. But if he did... oh no, never mind. The instant speed Aether Plasm comes with a Court of Calling, which he doesn't have right now. Because that almost came up in the previous round. Unexpected results. Oh, it gets cancelled. I really don't hate Progenitor Mimic on the Doorkeeper. That does not seem terrible to me. I could be totally wrong.
I could see it.
So Yuki chooses to leave up away. Varel of the Hulklade is the draw. That's actually pretty good against Edict effects. Why do you think you might have boarded that in?
I was trying to figure that out.
Also, that works well with my fellow Nick everywhere play.
I don't see how it fits in any particular strategies against this deck.
Yeah. I could just like randomly end up being good though. Just to, because if he makes a 6-mana Doorkeeper and then gets Edicted, that's pretty bad. Alright, so Progenitor Mimic copies a creature, and then it copies... Okay, so the copies don't make more copies. That'd be kind of ridiculous. So just the original makes the copies. A Master Biomancer got milled. Varel's good with Vigi and Hydropon. That's interesting. Looks like he might be on the sort of like grindy game plan here where he's going to put counters on a bunch of creatures and then just make them all big or something. Although that guy can't attack or block.
Hydropon is a pretty grindy card.
Yeah. I think Yuki's going to Edict in response to not double the counters on the Hydropon. I mean, it would, yeah. It would get out of control pretty fast, but it can't attack, though.
It also only transfers one counter at a time, if I remember Graph.
I believe that's true. I've only played with Graft in Modern Masters 2, which I only drafted once, so... yeah, you may move a counter onto it. It's like Codex Shredder is being activated. Mills Island. This world's fine when across 11, right? He still needs 5 mana. That's probably not happening. I think he's finally going to cast Bob. There's Bob. There's an Aqueduct. So what can he do here? He can make a 2/2 Aether Plasm. That's probably not great. He can make a Progenitor Mimic and make a lot of 5/5s that can't attack. That doesn't seem great either.
They could keep like transferring counters onto each other and just snowball bigger and bigger. Hydropons, they can't attack or block.
Yeah, he needs like a Warmonger's Chariot or something. Alright, he's going with the Aether Plasm. That's probably the best play he has, but it's not a great one.
If Yuuki attacks for some reason, it's amazing.
That is true. It's possible that, like, we could somehow reach a situation where he takes a bunch of damage from Bob and then wants to suicide it to get it off the table and then dies to the World's Spine Worm. Like, that is something that could happen. I don't think it's super likely. He'd have to go flip. If he flips Breaking and Entering, that deals him like 8 damage. Like, there are some cards that are dangerous here. Drake-Wing Krasis did get boarded in, but it has been milled. Bob reveals Whispering Madness. Do you think he wants to discard his hand right now? He might just cast it to draw new cards. Nope, he's content to pass. End of turn, Yuuki, Saito Shape. Oh, okay. So he's basically
That
going to
doesn't.
What?
That doesn't work, does it? Like he's not going to get a trigger.
I think he will. So the way these cards now say, like, until the beginning of the next end step. So if he casts it during his opponent's end step, he basically gets a Bob until the end of his next turn. So I think he'll get it one time.
I think until next turn still means until end of turn, not well, at end of turn is at beginning of end step. But
maybe.
I don't think that works like he wants it to.
Yeah, maybe not. I guess I can Google it. Let's see. Saito Shape Oracle Text. I know, you're right, it is still until end of turn. It's not until the beginning of the next end steps, I don't think. Well, it was still legal to cast it, and Yuuki still responded, so I don't think we're actually going to change anything.
Yeah, no, it's all good from here.
Yeah. We'll have to let him know after the match. Anything important get milled? I wasn't paying attention. Beetle Form Mage. And Cloud from Raptor. Yeah, he brought in some of these cheap creatures, he just hasn't seen them. He can cast Elusive Krasis. Which really would have liked getting a counter from the Hydrophon. This game is going to come down to whether Bob attacks. And Bob flips the swamp this time. And draws another land. Progenitor Mimic copying a Elusive Crisis is not too great either. I'm surprised how bad this card's been. Like, I actually thought it was going to be pretty good when he had it in the starting hand. Hover Barrier.
I'm sure many games have come down to whether Bob attacks or not, but not quite like this.
Yeah. Alright, so Whispering Madness gets cast. Hopefully they'll get it right here, so World Spine's not going to shuffle back in until after Whispering Madness resolves.
It's not a Darkstone Colossus.
Right. Just triggers when it goes to the graveyard. So like that trigger goes on the stack, and then the spell has to finish resolving. Okay, yeah, they got it. Coiling Oracle, Followed Footsteps. Well, I guess Bob can attack now. Although there's no reason, because it's an 0-4. Yuuki drew Convolute and Induce Paranoia, which you talked about before. It's the mill counterspell. Yeah, I think he's in pretty good shape here. Not sure what they're waiting for. Looks like Hunter is muted right now, so might just be me. And we're just... Alright, looks like we've resolved everything. Coiling Oracle, Followed Footsteps have been drawn. World Spine War has been shuffled back in. Coiling Oracle is going to evolve Elusive Crisis and reveal a forest that's going to be put into play. Alright, so in Followed Footsteps can be cast. But for what game? Alright, so you can get in for 1 unblockable. Alright, so end of turn Codex Shredder. Mills the land. Yuuki's getting close. Bob reveals Mirko Vosk. That does deal him 5 damage. But also is likely to end the game. Draws Rogue's Passage. It's actually pretty interesting. Like, it's possible that Bob could flip up one of the split cards and deal a ton of damage. That's probably Yuki's only way he could lose. Probably is if the Bob kills him. But he may be afraid to attack with it because of the World Spine Worm and the Aether Plasm. He doesn't cast Mirko Boss, he's just leaving a bunch of mana up. Breeding Pool is probably not what the doctor ordered here for Harry. So he's going to play the Breeding Pool, and I guess he can attack for 1 again. But yeah, he's going to have to... I think Yuki's going to have to just be very unlucky with Bob reveals here to lose this game. He's in pretty commanding position. And now he can activate the Codex Shredder and the Doorkeeper, which is going to mill 3 cards. Let's put Harry down to 5 cards. So he's probably have to survive 2 flips from Bob. Oh, World Spine Worm gets milled and gets shuffled back. Harry almost can cast it. I think he has 10 mana. Yeah. But Yuki has the Convolute anyway. And the Induced Paranoia. So yeah, the game's just going to end, I think, if World Spine Worm actually gets cast. Drift of Phantasms is the reveal, so that's going to deal 3 damage. And puts Yuki down to 7. He draws Devour Flesh for the turn. Oh, that's a big one, actually. Now I think he can't lose. So he can target himself and sacrifice the Hover Barrier if he needs to gain 6. Because the one card that could kill him is a Breaking. The split cards count both sides, so if he flip Breaking and Entering, it would deal him 8 damage. But now he won't die to that. So he should be able to get 3 cards at the end of Harry's turn, and then potentially 3 more cards. And then if Harry ever casts a spell, he's just gonna probably die to that too. Dark Confidant's gonna attack. I think you just take the 2 damage. Now he blocks with a Coiling Oracle. That actually is interesting because then the Whispering Madness could be cast, and then discards could happen, but none of those things happen. So Bob's just dead. And now I think Yuki's just going to straight up win. He can even cast the Drift of Phantasms and have an extra defender in play for the Doorkeeper. We're still in the attack phase here for some reason. I feel like the pace of play has slowed considerably. Alright, we made it to the end step. Here, he needs to draw something really good here. Verdant Haven's probably not it.
At least against 2 life.
Right. Alright. Casting Verdant Haven because why not? He successfully has gone up to 22 life. Alright, so end of turn, we got Codex Shredder to mill 1, and then Doorkeeper to mill 3 more. World Spine Worm gets milled. And goes back in. So we're back up to 2 cards. Glimpse of the unthinkable. I guess he just it's actually sort of tricky because Harry can't cast the World Spine Worm, but like he can probably just activate the Doorkeeper, mill the other card, let Harry draw and cast the World Spine Worm, and then the game ends because he can't actually attack with it.
Just can't counter the worm.
Right. Like aside from that, he can probably just cast spells at random and still win. Alright, so he's going for the Shredder. And he actually hit the land, so that should do it. Unless there's like a flashback time walk that we don't know about. There's no discard outlet that we know of. Attacks. It would have been funny if World Spine Worm resolved and then you had to evolve the Elusive Crisis. Just for the overkill factor. Here it comes. Please don't counter it. Want to go eat. Alright, well, that should do it, I guess. And the game is over. That was an interesting match, I would say. The last 2 games were kind of just like anticipating will something ever happen, and it never did. Why is he casting Devour Flesh? I guess they're just goofing around. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say Devour Flesh would actually just like lose the game, because then he would make 3 warp tokens and gain the bunch of life, which is irrelevant.
Hello.
Hey there.
Okay. So I don't know how it looked when you could see our hands, but from my perspective, we had 3 actual games, and it was fun.
Yeah. I do say I do enjoy the 21-21 World Spine. And then the 17-17 one as well.
Like, I had enough in my hand. I would have been able to mill you. So if you didn't kill me that turn, I would have won. So that was beautiful.
Yeah, I had a feeling because I only had like 8 cards, so it wasn't too far away.
Like master on my head, I was like, okay, if I lose at least one of my walls, I can stay alive health-wise with what's currently on board, and then I can mill him with stuff before he dies, and then next turn I can just mill during my turn, and he should have nothing in his library. But then you're just like, I just want 2 World Spire Worms.
Yeah, that was
pretty
great.
Got to cast it. That's what matters. I had exactly enough mana to cast it.
So I actually have a question for the people who would usually be asking us a question.
Okay.
I think it was the third game when I mulled down to 6 and kept that hand. Would you guys have done that?
We were debating it, and I don't think reached like a real definitive conclusion. But I thought on the draw, like with the doorkeeper, I thought it was at least defensible. I don't know if that's what I would have done necessarily, but like I wasn't just like, wow, that's completely terrible. Why did he do that?
I mean, because I was sitting there thinking, like, as I kept him, like, I have one man, I'm completely relying on taught draws, but I'm on draw and I have scry. This can end terribly, but if it doesn't, the rest of my cards are pretty cheap and I should be able to pull it off.
Right.
You were pretty lucky to hit that island.
And then the swamp afterwards got me into cancel range.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, didn't want to let unexpected results resolve again.
Yeah, and then after that, I mean, I could have played a couple more things, but instead I was just like, I should hold back and keep my control while I tried to, like, pass time, basically, to draw more lands.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out. But it was kind of a gamble.
I just had weird hands every time.
Yeah, I thought your game 2 hand was pretty slow and might have been worth at least thinking about.
Yeah.
Again.
I did think about it. I think I had said I was going to take it and then said, wait, let me think about it. I don't know. Just when I can get Master Biomancer out, he just kind of tends to take over. And so,
yeah.
Just because every creature I draw becomes bigger and bigger. So, yeah, it was definitely a maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Not.
So, what happened with that, like the Cyto shape on the graph dude?
Well, basically what was going to happen was you choose the creature at time of resolution that's going to copy. And basically I was just kind of pointing out what I'm going to do because to make things faster.
Yeah, so he was going to turn Dark Confidant into a 0/0 and kill it, which I wasn't entirely opposed to, but I was like, I kind of want to see if I can get a few more cards out of it. Hopefully I don't draw into my 5 mana cost guy. Oh, hey, look what I did next turn.
That makes a lot more sense. So we were thinking...
So that's why
because we're bad, I guess, that like you were trying to turn your Hydropon into a Bob so that you could draw an extra card for a turn.
No.
And I was like, Hunter was like, I don't think that works.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
No, it's the other way around. I was trying to turn his Dark Confidant into a 0/0.
That makes a lot.
So that's why, that's why I killed his creature, so that when he had to resolve the spell and choose a target, he had to choose something with toughness.
Makes sense.
Right.
Okay then. Yeah, those were entertaining games, even though the last two we were sort of just like waiting to see is Harry gonna mount some kind of offensive, or it never really did. But
yeah, but that's just what his deck does. I mean, it's can the other person actually fight?
Yep.
Kill him before the mill.
But yeah, the World Spine Worm make a copy of World Spine Worm was pretty amazing, and probably possibly just the best thing we've seen in Roto Draft. So.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to top that.
It's definitely up there.
I don't think. I don't think my deck will ever do anything else better.
There was a match where
outside of doing that again and being able to make multiple copies of him.
There was a match last season where Scott hard cast Grizzlebrand either 2 or all 3 of the games in the match. Like that was pretty interesting, but
nice.
It wasn't quite that epic, I don't think.
So would you end up sideboarding out and in against me?
I took out the Master Biomancer, the Biovisionary stuff. So basically I took out all the card draw and the pulling stuff out of my deck.
To try and make it slower of a mill?
Yeah. And just get my more aggressive creatures.
Makes sense.
To try and just be in the sky. Like I brought in the Drake, that's a 3/1 flyer with trample. And then what was it? I brought in the Elusive Krasis, and what the heck was that? The Beetleform Mage.
Yeah.
He's a 4/4 flyer.
We thought you were gonna bring in a lot of that stuff, and then you didn't draw it, and I was like, did he actually get more aggressive? I guess he just drew.
No, actually, in game 2, I reverted my deck on accident.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah, because I had taken out Warrior Big.
Right, right. That's what we were saying. It was like, why does he have a 5-mana 2/2 in his deck?
Right. And initially, that Warrior Big is to basically pull, like, when I cast my Visionary, to pull Progenitor Mimic out.
Right.
I actually ended up seeing all of what I sideboarded in, even though I didn't use all of it. I ended up sideboarding out a 4-cost wall and the Night Veil Spectre, a 3/3 flyer that mills 1 when it deals damage, but I could cast it potentially. I also took out Muddle the Mixture, which is a counterspell for instants and sorceries. And I took out Consultant Necrosages, which is either a 3-cost discard 2 or a 3-cost target player draws 2.
Oh.
And then I put in counter spells that were more geared towards creatures, target player sacrifices creatures, and one of those has at least a mill, or 2 of them have a mill.
Right. I forgot to take out the Aether Plasma too.
Yuuki, you know, Muddle the Mixture is also just Glimpse the Unthinkable copy number 2, right?
Yeah, I know, but it costs 3 mana to get to it. I have, I should still have another one in there. At the very least, I know that's why I ended up grabbing Dimir Infiltrator back when I was drafting, because I was like, 3 can go into a Glimpse the Unthinkable or something. But the 3 cost as a sorcery, just, I don't know. It's not super desirable when I'm trying to hold control into my hand or get mill equipment out on the field. I expect I might use it a couple of times during this tournament, but it's probably not going to be frequent at all. I don't expect it to anyways.
All right. I need to get rolling, so I'm going to stop recording. You guys can hang out more if you want. But thanks for joining us. And yeah, that was definitely an interesting match. I'm not sure if the match before was it was interesting playing it. I don't know how it was to watch, but I guess you guys can watch it later. So
I kind of want to see this when you upload it, because I feel like there's enough stuff happening for there to be actual commentary.
Yeah. Well, we definitely missed a couple of things, so it'll be interesting when we go back and watch it again. But all right, I will see you guys later.